What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video, reacting to A Brief History of Electric Guitar Distortion by Polyphonic. So what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video. We're going to be reacting to A Brief History of Electric Guitar Distortion by Polyphonic. As always, if you have not already subscribed to Polyphonic, go and give them a sub right now, please and thank you. And I've also included the link for the original video in the description. Please click on the link and give the original video a like. And on this video, my video, leave a comment on what you'd like to hear me react to next, and let us be getting to it.
Thanks for helping make this video possible. Head on over to squarespace.com/polyphonic to get 10% off your first purchase. There are few sounds in all of music more iconic than a distorted guitar. From Chuck Berry's opening lick on Johnny B. Good, through Jimmy Page's Electric Black Dog, or Angus Young's thunderous Back in Black, all the way to Jack White's crunchy Fell in Love with the Girl, distortion is synonymous with rock and roll. In fact, when many people think of the electric guitar, the sound that comes into their head is distortion, rather than the instrument clean.
That is absolutely correct. Something that I'm sure that they're going to get into here. Distortion was a complete and total accident. One of the best happy accidents that ever happened to music. Can you imagine? Like, I actually saw a Jared Dines video a little while ago, and the video is metal without distortion. He's playing all these heavy metal and gent riffs with a clean sound. It's really weird. Yeah. But yeah, it was a total accident. One of the most awesome, happy accidents to ever happen to guitar, or music in general, actually.
It's really not a stretch to say that distortion helped make music what it is today. But what exactly is distortion, and where did it come from? Let's take a closer look. Distortion can really describe a number of different processes, but all of them are achieving the same outcome, manipulating an instrument's waveform to change the sound. Any kind of amplification device has a limit to the length of sound waves it can put out. When you start to push past that limit, the device will compress the edges of the sound waves, which messes with the sound. In a lot of recording, distortion is actually something to be avoided. For example, if I crank up my voiceover like this, it distorts and makes me rather unpleasant to listen to.
Yes, in literally every instance in recording and audio, distortion was something that you wanted to avoid. Yes, guitar amps, when they first came out, they wanted them to have more clean headroom. They wanted crystal clean, pristine tones for everything at first, until, well, I'll let them get to it.
However, it turns out that exact process sounds pretty cool when you do it to a guitar. Guitarists first started to figure this out in the 1940s. Back then, they used vacuum tube amplifiers. These vacuum tubes could only take so much electricity going through them. Guitarists discovered that if you cranked the volume on your amp, the power flowing through it would push it into overdrive, and the vacuum tubes would compress the sound waves so that they wouldn't break. The result was shifting a smooth, clean guitar sound into something with more grit and growl. This kind of distortion is aptly named overdrive, and it quickly became the rage in the late 1940s and early 1950s. We don't really know who the first to do it is, but we do know that one of the early pioneers of this distortion was named Junior Bernard. Bernard was the lead guitarist for Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. He was an aggressive player who was always trying to push his sound into something grittier and earthier to reflect the country blues he played. For a perfect example of this distortion, check out Bernard Blues.
Dirty, all killing me.
It's kind of odd that, you know, with it being 2025 and the amount of crazy high gain amps that they're out there, hearing that as being considered distortion, like to a lot of people, that would be considered a good clean tone these days. But no, it all starts somewhere. You can't just go from completely pristine, clean right to, you know, mezza boogie or 5150 tones. You know, there's got to be steps in between. There's got to be steps.
Guitarists all over heard Bernard's sound and latched on, experimenting with distortion on their own. One of these was Gory Carter, who filled his track Rock a While with intense fuzz.
Feeling good this morning, I feel like I wanna rock a while.
Another artist that dabbled in distortion was Howlin' Wolf. For example, just check out the fuzzy lick on 1951's How Many More Years.
Yep, getting more and more. Now we're hearing there's starting to be more and more gain gradually. It's getting more and more fuzzy, more and more distorted, more and more overdriven. It's like anything else. It's a progression, right? You know?
Earlier in 1951, Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats had released Rocket 88, a song that some qualify as the first rock and roll recording. That song featured Willie Kazart ripping a wicked distorted guitar riff, though legend has it his distortion came by accident.
Yes.
There's conflicting stories as to how, but everyone seems to agree on the basic facts. Kazart's amp got damaged while the band was on the road. To try to fix it, he stuffed balls of newspaper into it, hoping to hold the speaker cone in. And the result was unintentional distortion. But producer Sam Phillips loved the sound, and so he leaned into it.
You hear it's more gainy there, but the main thing is this is at the beginning of rock and roll when it was still, I hear piano and drums in the mix more than anything. I can barely hear the guitar, but you can hear that it's nicely overdriven. But yes, I heard when they were on the road and they got some other stuff out of the trailer and they were unloading, the amp fell over and got broken. And yeah, that was completely a broken amp thing. I wonder if we're going to get into the other high gain stuff with, like, you know, what the Kinks did and all that sort of stuff. Wonder if they're going to get into that here. Yeah, I thought they were going to consider it from Rockin' 88 to really be the first one. But hey, again, this is why we watch, to learn, as well as to be entertained.
This started a trend that would continue through the 1950s, guitarists sabotaging their amplifiers to create their own distortion. One of these was Link Wray, who stabbed his amp's speaker cone with a pencil to give it a heavy, gritty sound. You can hear that in a track like Rumble, which was so intense for the time that it got banned from airplay because people thought it would incite gang fights.
That's heavy tone. Now we're getting heavy.
This was a bad time to be a speaker cone. In 1964, Dave Davies took a razor and ambushed his cone to create the guitar sound of You Really Got Me.
Yep, it all started off as being, you know, accidents and other people experimenting with other things. It's like I said in another video a little while ago, with how many vintage Strats ended up becoming, I wouldn't say destroyed. I said destroyed in that video, but I really think about it's not really destroyed. Devalued from the vintage market because people wanted a humbucker in the bridge. So they ripped out that single coil in the bridge and they routed it. Yeah, so it's the same idea. You know, you had great speakers back then. People wanted to half destroy them to get that distortion. But yeah, I like the option of both. But back then, you know, there wasn't stomp boxes and all that sort of stuff to facilitate such things.
so I don't know what I'm doing now.
By this time, musicians had realized what distortion was capable of, and people started to look for new ways to do it without destroying their amps. That's where the fuzz box comes in. In 1961, Marty Robbins' bassist Grady Martin played through a mixing board with a faulty connection. The result was a sludgy, heavy bass solo that cut through a warm country song.
What the hell?
Recording engineer Glenn
What the hell? A distorted bass solo on a country tune from back then? What the? It didn't even really sound like a bass guitar. It sounded more like a bassoon or something like that. Huh.
T. Snoddy took this sound and reverse engineered it. By figuring out where the circuit was faulty, he was able to create a small box that could recreate the sound, the fuzz box. In addition to letting musicians play the sound without annihilating their equipment, it also allowed guitarists to turn distortion on and off with the stomp of a foot. In its early days, fuzzbox sales were lukewarm, but then a guitarist by the name of Keith Richards decided to try one out, and tore out one of the greatest riffs of all time, Satisfaction.
There we go.
This riff single-handedly vaulted the fuzzbox into common usage, and soon enough, imitators were coming and creating their own take on the equipment.
The Big Muff is fantastic for bass guitar. It's the Big Muff is the best fuzz. Again, there's like 3 different categories. There's fuzz, overdrive, and distortion. And when it comes to fuzz, nothing beats a Big Muff. Can't get enough of that muff. Sorry, couldn't help it. Sorry, I'll see myself out.
One of the first to do so was Ivor Arbiter, who created the Arbiter fuzz face. A young man named Jimi Hendrix picked up one of these and used it on his band's debut album. When Are You Experience opened with the manic psychedelic distortion of Purple Haze, there was no turning back.
Hell yeah!
Thanks to his guitar tech Roger Mayer, Hendrix would continue to innovate with distortion, playing around with new combinations of amps and fuzz boxes to push distortion like none before him. And following Hendrix, we would see countless innovators in distortion. Throughout the 70s and 80s, it was a race to see who could push music into the grittiest, loudest territory, and distortion became essential to the growing genres of hard rock, metal, and punk. Today, it's not uncommon to see guitarists like John Frusciante or The Edge layer all kinds of different post-processing and distortion to create that perfect sound.
Oh yeah, both of those guys just mentioned, those are guys that never lay down one track and just double it or something like that. They lay down multiple different parts and create a wall of sound that you can't really totally replicate that well live, but still, you know, it's they end up playing the one primary part live, but in the studio, yeah, both these cats are masters of layering multiple small, simpler parts that just come together, a perfect wall of guitar sound. Yeah.
Distortion is the lifeblood of rock and roll. It helped birth the genre, and then it allowed it to explode in popularity and change music forever. And it all happened because of a few lucky accidents. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Head on over to squarespace.com/polyphonic to start your free trial and use the offer code polyphonic to get 10% off your first purchase. If you want to make a website for your band, blog, business, or really anything else in your life, Squarespace is the place for you. It's an all-in-one platform where you can use designer templates to build your own website. They've got award-winning 24/7 customer service and a really user-friendly interface. I'm a big fan of Squarespace, and I just used their platform to build a new website where I'll be hosting all kinds of playlists. It's It's going to be a great resource for viewers who wonder what song I played or want to get more into the topics that I touch on. I don't have a ton of background in web design, and honestly, it was really seamless and easy to make a slick looking website. It was all drag and drop, and it was really intuitive to integrate the playlists right into the website. So head on over to squarespace.com/polyphonic to start your free trial today. And remember, use the offer code polyphonic to show them that I sent you, and you'll get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
All right, so that was reacting to A Brief History of Electric Guitar Distortion by Polyphonic. As always, if you've not already subscribed to Polyphonic, go now and give Polyphonic a sub. I've included the link of the original video in the description. Please go and click on the link and go to the original video and give it a like. And on this video, my video, leave a comment on what you'd like to see me reacting to next. Thanks for checking out this video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, click the notification bell, like, comment, and share. It doesn't cost a thing and would really help out the channel. Also, please subscribe to my other channel, GK Mac Music, for some live looping live streams with a side of jackassery, some original music, and some short content, also with a side of jackassery. If you'd like to help out the channel financially, you can buy some merch at the merch store, or you can become a channel member. As always, everyone, thanks so much for your continued support. Do what makes you happy.